Mentorship Monday it is. Welcome once again our viewers. Najua mmekuwa na weekend njema. So this Monday again we choose to stay happy. If you feel there is no reason, for you to be joyful, for you to be thankful, just know that you woke up and you have life. And as we always say, if you wake up breathing, then there is hope. Another Monday morning, we have a special guest. It's a special day. And on set, I believe the last show you missed someone on the set, and Michelle is back. And also we have Chadwick. Karibuni sana. So just as we start the show, maybe introductions. Michelle, just tell us a little bit about yourself, even as we bring Chadwick on the show.
My name is Michelle. I'm part of this community at Mentor Me. I'm not aware there was another show. But it's okay. We are glad to have Chadwick today.
My name is Chadwick Ochieng, and I'm a medic, but over and above, I am a co-founder of a mentorship program that is called Plants and Pillars, that basically is meant to help young people to become what they were meant to be.
Okay, Plants and Pillars.
Yeah, Plants and
Pillars. So such a nice name because, when it comes to Plants and Pillars, there's something unique about plants. There's some analogy that we use here at Mentor Me Generation program about plants. How you relate it with leadership. We realize there's a generation that usually comes and plants a seed, and then there's a generation that will be able to water it and take care of it. And when all this tree is all grown, then we all are able to enjoy the fruits and even enjoy the shade. So where did you get the inspiration, of Plants and Pillars?
Inspiration, we actually got it from the Bible.
Okay.
If you read the book of Psalms 144 verse 12. So with a friend of mine, she's called Charity. Yeah, we looked at the current generation and we looked at the challenges that our generation is facing. And the fact that there's a disconnect between the older generation and the younger generation. And we thought that if we are to have any meaningful change, because we always kept complaining about a corrupt society and all the all the upheavals we're having in our society. But we thought the best place to change a society is at that cradle age. So we thought of that teenage period where ideas are starting to be formed, people are starting to shape their personalities and get exposed to the world out there. And we thought of using plants and pillars. Plants, just like you rightly said, that there's a process that causes the plant to blossom. So we take them through the process of learning how to become solid people. And pillars, because pillars are the most important. If you look at a building, the pillars are very important in terms of stability of that building. So we are looking at people who eventually will become stability in society and will become sources, because plants are sources of happiness, of nutrients, and many other things.
Michelle, I don't know about you, but there's something about plants and also the pillars that are coming on board. It's usually said that no tree is stronger than its roots, and no building is actually stronger than its foundation. And this is what we're actually getting from these two. So for you, I don't know what you think about it, but if you had to choose one, to be a plant or a pillar, which would it be?
I think you definitely know the answer. I'll be both. But I think it's beautiful because just the whole perspective of where you're getting the plants and pillars is so beautiful. Because we need to be, that's all we want for this community, for this generation. Being.
Why do you think that this generation, there's, I don't know if it is something true or something just a misconception, but there's a feeling that this generation does not value mentorship. Why do you think that is so? And if it is there, is it because we grew in a foundation of a lot of motivational speaking and if you want to do this, you can do this, you want to be a millionaire in 2 days, you read this book and stuff. Is it because of that, or is it that we really don't just value mentorship because of out of choice?
It's just all about the perspective. What do we get introduced to? A lot of the people in my generation have been introduced to the unentertaining and juicy parts of mentorship. We don't like things that are not sweet. In my generation. We love the crunch, we love things that will keep us here. But growing up, maybe let's say in high school, I had a really bogus mentorship program, really bogus.
I think that was motivation.
Was it motivation? But they brought it as a mentorship program.
Okay, sure.
They were supposed to sit with Form 4s and motivate us to get to uni. And just push you out of a shell that you're not aware you're in. And make you put some unrealistic goal for grades. Make you unlearn some behavior. Is that even unlearning? Make you just forget that you did some behavior. Like you woke up at 4, now you are made to forget that ever happened in your life, and now you are supposed to wake up at 3. Just forget that you are not good at mathematics and start doing 150 sums in a day. What is that? Well, what do you even mean?
And
then that is what has been introduced to me in high school. And then I'm supposed to come out here and do followership, look for someone to hold my hand and walk with me and do life with me. And that is what I had. And it's like, no, I'm not subscribing to that. I think that is just the same thing that is happening to every one of us. To every person that maybe is in my generation. Same thing. Why do you think in my generation there are so many people who say, I don't believe in religion?
So, Chad, allow me to call you Chad. I know it's the name of a country, but I think that's a short form of your name. There's something Michelle is actually bringing out. That, you know, she came out and she's supposed to be attached in a followership kind of thing. And I believe mentorship is followership, There's a scripture that I love so much. It talks about we not being lazy, but let us be followers of them, you know, who have made it through faith and patience. So when it really comes to mentorship, it means that there is someone who has been through where you want to be, because there is nothing new under the sun. And so this person is sharing, you know, their experience, their knowledge, their skills, for you to also be able to make it in that direction. With the current generation, just about mentorship, what do you think are some of the things we need to engage in terms of our packaging, for them to be able to value mentorship?
Okay, thank you. I think that's a very good question, Martin, and it's amazing what this kind of conversation that you're having. I think, let me just start by a very brief personal story. I started getting to know about mentorship when I was in high school. And at that time, I didn't know what it was, but thank God I met this slightly elderly woman who was just interested in me because she saw something unique about me, and she started just to invest. And I like the model she used because the model was relational. Which most, and then I think as she was talking about the challenges is that the first place where we should get mentorship is actually in the family.
Exactly.
And the challenge is right now our parents are either too busy trying to make ends meet that the average young person today has never had anything about mentorship. Because just like you said, it's about modeling. It's not just about saying, because you can have a motivational speaker come tell you, you know, I started my chicken business with a feather, and then you feel like tomorrow,
I need to get some feathers and just feather out or something.
So it's not real, and people are not talking about real issues. So this woman who invested in me, she would ask me, tell me about you, and we would talk about every single detail of my life. Every single time she kept, and she would even tell me about herself. So it was it was quite a relational model. So I think the challenge we have now is a disconnect between the people who are meant to be mentors and the people who should be mentored, because we are totally in a new generation. Different passions, different set of conditions and adverse environment that we have, so that when these older people come to invest in us, they feel lost, and we also feel lost with them. Because they're wondering how can you not wake up and study? But in their time, there were no movies, there were no series to be watched.
Michelle, you're talking about something concerning, you know, the challenges about this generation in line with mentorship.
I think our main problem with the disconnect is everyone feels enraged by the behavior of the other. It's like you old people do not get us. And then you young people are spoiled brats. So before we get to a point of how will I say? Not even moderation.
Like
before we get to a meeting, before we get to integrate and just have meaningful, open, and genuine conversations, there's a lot of work that the both of us need to take, because I think we're assuming the old generation is in another world, and the young ones are in a different world that we never get to meet, and we constantly get to meet. I show up in a job interview with my afro, they're just like, young generation spoils brats, and I'm just like, old generation, you don't get it. I don't need to like get my African hair, because that's the argument right now. Cut down to impress you in a job interview. So I think we just need to invest in getting the integration happening.
Sure. And there's something Michelle has just talked about, and I think our viewers need to actually understand this, that every old person was once young. You get? So there is no really young generational truth or old generation truth. Our dimensions have changed, and so how can we package our mentorship so that we are able to reach out to our generation? Because at least with us we can be able to say we kind of understand each other. But again, we always have to have someone higher than us to be able to show us the way. There's an African proverb that says that the elders always knows where people are going to. No, the younger people knows where we want to go to, but the elders knows the way. Right? So it's good to yield to these people that have gone before us so that we are able to, move to that direction. What do you think about that?
I think that would be very important, just like what Michelle is saying, to bridge that gap, that disconnect that is there. Because the truth is, without mentorship, we don't have a society. True. Without mentorship, because mentorship is actually a time redemption strategy. If what it took your mentor 60 years to learn, you can learn it in one day. Exactly. So I feel like they say, in matters principle, you should stay like a rock. But in matters style, you should go with the flow. So I feel we cannot be overly attached to methodologies, because the older generation, the way of mentorship was we meet under a tree or something, and then for 12 hours someone is pumping wisdom. But I feel like we can have also room for creativity in terms of looking at what are the ways in which you can connect with the younger generation. What is their language? Someone wrote a book called 5 Languages of Love, meaning what language do they understand? And then we still pass the same principles to them, but in a way that is acceptable to them.
That is also one very key word. Acceptability in terms of also their culture, their tradition, and that becomes very key because I think we witness this. In the field of public health, and one of the things that we witness, especially in community health, is when you think there is something you want to take to the community by how you've seen them, trying to capture things. Instead of going to the community, having a conversation with them and asking them, guys, we know you have these issues, but what are the priorities, right? Michelle, there's a statement that was made, I think it was Winston Churchill, that said that the reason why I've seen far, is by standing on the shoulders of those that went ahead of me. And so in that perspective, with our generation, how do we locate mentors, or how do we find time to be under mentors that can be able to take us far, given our different disciplines, given our different fields?
I think I will always go back to the words of Sheryl Sandberg. In her book Lean In, it is not our business in this generation to locate mentors. Mentorship is key and vital. But we are not sending ourselves out there to just point at someone and say, oh, that looks like a good mentor. We are here to do life, and in the process of doing life, let us find ourselves in mentorship.
We find ourselves in mentorship.
Let us be here, Chadwick, as a person who is done with med school now, identifies someone who has characteristics or behavior exactly like those he had as a first year student, and picks up that young man or young lady and walks with them. Exactly. Me as Michelle, I'll just sit down and look at my lecturer and say, wow, I see myself so much in this lady. And just do life close to them. But I'm not necessarily walking to them like, hi mom, can you please be my mentor?
Exactly, And Chad, I think that is one of the disconnect that really comes on board, what Michelle is actually bringing up, because there's an issue when it comes to, do I locate mentors or do I wait found? But this goes to you who have already made it. I think that's the advice that we are picking up from the show. As a sports person, yeah, there is somewhere that I started. And right now I'm in a different kind of a setup. I'm able to see someone with the same potential, even training to be in the same position as I am.
Or bigger potential.
Or even bigger potential per se. I think it's supposed to be, from you who have already made it to go and now assist them. Not really just appearing as a mentor, because also we understand that apart from, talking it out, even our actions are also part of mentorship. And we also understand that, you don't need to meet these mentors in person. You can connect with them in books, or you can connect with them in links, YouTube, and you can reach out to them in various platforms. In your program, the Plans and Pillars Mentorship, there's something you talk about, the 3Ds. Can you just elaborate more about that and in line with mentorship?
Okay.
As I talk about the 3Ds, I think there's something you mentioned which is important, because for a long time I've been wondering, should the mentor be the one to approach the mentee or vice versa?
Yes.
I think from my experience, I've had both experiences. Initially, when I used to start out, I used to be the one to actively look for the mentees.
Exactly. So you know what you
so I would look for them. But then I realized also there were challenges because some are not excited. So after time, the attrition rate is very high. Then when now others came to look for me and they were genuinely interested, then we find that we walked a journey with them. So I think it needs to be a balance of both, but one underlying factor is interest.
Exactly.
An interest of a mentee in the mentor, and an interest of a mentor in the mentee.
Not even in the interest of mentee in the mentor and vice versa. It's just an interest of the both of them in the journey they want to do. Because I may not really be interested in you, Chadwick. No, that came out so wrong. I may not really believe in you as a person, but if I believe in the course of work that you have done, and it resonates with what I would want to do now and in future, I would strongly believe and do life with you. But if I was like, it's Chadwick, what is medicine even? So it will be, I think there will be a disconnect there as well. But if we both believe in the journey, makes things easy.
Yeah. Actually, I think the other thing, guys, is how do you sustain that relationship? Because one of the things that has also brought issues is mentorship is in dimension. As we say that it starts in the family, and we know the relationship we have in terms of family, whether brothers, sisters, a father or a mother. But when it comes to now people who are mentoring you, let's say in ministry or in career or in sports, how do we handle them? Is how we handle them a question of, will it sustain the relationship or not? Because is there some honor, what is the point? Do you go above? Is your mentor a friend? Do you handle him as a friend? Do you handle him as just someone you can joke around with and stuff like that? Can that have an issue with sustaining your mentorship journey?
Okay. When it comes to that, I may be a bit conservative, so you will get where I'm coming from.
Yeah, sure.
But how I look at it, number one, first of all, I believe it's beyond the activity.
Yes.
I believe, for example, if right now I was to ask a girl out, I could be having a flower, and the flower is activity.
Okay.
But if the girl is not interested in me, if I give her the flower, she'll either reject it or throw it away.
Okay.
Someone else can come with the same flower, but because of the interest, they will receive it and they will put it somewhere even for a whole year, even if it's drying. So I always believe that, number one, you need to look at, aside from the activity or the event, it could be the guy is an accomplished engineer or a professional in whatever field, but who are they? What do they stand for? Okay. Because there has to be a passion. When there is no passion, there is no pursuit.
Exactly.
So there has to be some acceptable degree of passion in the person that you want to pursue or you want to help you. Otherwise, they can't help you if you don't accept who they are. Exactly. It's beyond just the journey, or it's beyond just the activity being done. Then now, the question that you asked about I call it the matrix of the mentorship.
Yeah, the matrix of the mentorship.
Yeah, there has to be a level of, that relationship has to be sustained. You need to know that this is my mentor and I'm the mentee.
Yes.
I'm receiving from them.
Yes.
In as much as, yes, your mentee can open up to you and share their lives with you.
Exactly.
I think to maintain that level of honor, and even for that a longer time relationship, just the same way we relate with our parents. We are free with them, we talk, we laugh. Sure. But it never escapes your mind that this is my father. There's kuna venye hatuwezi zoeana in a particular way. Yeah. So I feel if you are to really esteem a mentor and get much from, because normally I see from my own experience, there are people who, just because you've opened the doors for them, they enter what you call familiarity,
which is very dangerous.
Which they say familiarity breeds contempt.
It does.
So within a short time you realize whatever attracted them to you no longer attracts them, because they are too used with they are too used to that. Yeah, because they have taken it now as this is, you know, my buddy. Some even start borrowing money from their mentors, and a lot of crazy things that we do.
So good. I mean, our viewers, I believe that thing actually it kind of crumbles up the relationship.
True.
You know, when you start going beyond, you start, you know, borrowing money from your mentor, or, you know, making it so familiar that you don't even, you know, able to get the small things. Michelle, there's something you touched on, and it brings another question. You know, when it comes to, it's not about really being egocentric, but can you be able to learn something from someone you don't like when it comes to information? For example, someone who is in line with your passion, is in line with your career, is in line with your gifts or talents. They are making it in that area. But it's someone that you don't really relate with, or being who they are is not something, you know, you borrow from. Is it still proper to, you know, get some training or get some information from such people in whatever platform that you can access?
I think the dynamics of life is whether you like me or not. And I am an asset.
Exactly.
You'll get it either way.
I like that.
But I don't believe that if it's maybe in career mentorship, you will have the best and most friendly relationship with your mentors.
Exactly.
Because they're going to hammer the lessons down. They're going to nail it down on you. When you don't think it's convenient, when you don't think it's serving your purpose right now, they will still nail it down to you. So I don't believe we should put emotions in this. If your purpose is to get to point B, just get there. We can have the emotions.
That's the journey
afterwards.
that actually leads to point B. Chad, what do you think? Because sometimes I think there's a time we were asking one of, you know, our mentees that when it comes to, if I was to give you a book from Barack Obama, the president, and I was to get you another book maybe from Hitler, which book will you choose, and actually why? And 80% of these young men just, you know, went for Barack Obama and stuff. Does it mean that there are lessons we don't pick from the likes of Hitler, from the likes of Idi Amin Dada, from the likes of Mobutu Sese Seko? Does it mean that we cannot pick some lessons from them when it comes to mentorship per se?
So it's a very good and very powerful question. My thought about it, number one, is it's also a function of the level of maturity.
Okay.
Because I feel like many people are not mature enough to know what to pick and what not to pick.
Exactly.
That's why you find that many young people, they see someone who's risen to stardom, and instead of picking certain lessons and not others, they pick everything about the person.
Okay.
Even how they shave, how they do everything, and including some of their persuasions on other things outside of the parameters of what the mentorship belongs to.
Okay.
So what I personally think is we need to get that level of maturity where you can even learn from your enemy.
Yes.
You can learn from people, because there's someone who maybe they are not good people naturally as personality, but there's something about maybe their courage is something you need to learn.
Exactly.
You need to learn maybe their leadership skills.
Yes.
There are people I know, even in terms of now the things that are going LGBTQ, all stuff.
Yes.
Someone very wonderful professor.
Yeah.
Like if you look at their work ethic, it is amazing.
Okay.
You can learn that, but it stops there.
Okay.
Once it gets to other things that are not in tandem with your personal conviction. So like, especially what she said in the academic era, you find some of the people who are the best in the faculties. In other fields, you may find in other fields they are not as good. Someone can be a professor, but in the family area, they are struggling.
Okay.
Or raising children, they are struggling. Finances, they are struggling. So you need to know, what am I learning from this person? And know what extent of access you allow to them. But personally, I the best method for me is a relational model. Where I'm able to look at this person and clearly admire them, and you know, get to a point where I can even be free to ask them certain things beyond, you know, even what we are talking about. I can look at their life and emulate it. But there's certain things personally I've had to learn from people I didn't like.
Okay.
And it was a lesson.
It is always a lesson. Yes, Michelle.
In this perspective, if we are thinking of grown-up adults with formed perspectives and principles about things they believe in life, I think we can give them a choice.
Okay.
But if we are working with teenagers, young people who are still trying to figure out life, I think we should not have choices. Give them both Barack and Hitler.
Let them choose.
Let them pick whatever they're picking in this.
And we'll support them in that.
Let them be that in that moment.
Yeah.
Once they are of age and they get clarity, the both lessons they picked from both will be very resourceful in their lives.
Wow.
But as teenagers, I mean, let them be street smart. Let them do whatever they want. Let them, I believe, if someone learns from what they have experienced firsthand, it's easier for them to form solid and really firm bases, to have a pillar. I think this is just foundation that they are bringing up. It's not like really the best thing for them to do, to have choice, because you don't know who they are ending up to be in future.
Foundation is key. And that brings in the next question. As mentors or people who have gone through mentorship, does it mean that now do we mentor people to be who we are? Do we mentor people to be like us? Or how do we carry it about? Because we've seen in the generation of our parents whereby you'll be told, you know what, this is a family of teachers, this is a family of doctors, so you should be like this. Is that the direction that we should really take, Michelle?
I don't believe in that completely.
Okay.
As a mentor, I would see the potential in a young girl.
Yes.
Because I relate to that at her age.
Okay.
I don't know that girl 18 years to come.
True. Because they're still growing.
They're still growing. I do not know who they are going to be 20 years moving forward. So it is not in my power whatsoever to mold this person to be a specific thing.
Okay. Chad, what do you think about that?
Yeah, so I think I just agree. I think what you're saying happens a lot in Africa and a bit of Asian countries where you are told, you know, from the time you are born, on that very day, especially in Asia, they tell you, you are a doctor, you are an engineer.
That happened to you.
You know, Michelle said this in one of our shows, you know, that the first mentors you have are your parents. And you actually brought it up again today. So it means that when you're growing up, your parents are actually seeing there's certain potential, there are certain gifts and talents, there are certain passions that you have. So do they have the right, you know, to choose a career for you? It's not sin, it's not a bad thing. Do they have the right? Or is it that now there's some place that we kind of misplace that? Because, you know, people grow with different passions. So how do we bring that up?
Yeah, so the reason I was saying that is the biggest thing, one of the principles that is important to understand is the principle of purpose.
Exactly.
And that's why we talk about the 3 Ds, you know, discovering, developing, and deploying.
Okay.
And I feel every mentor needs to be, because actually, let me say, there's a friend of mine who has a mentor, and this mentor insists he has to do this thing. And the fellow is talented and has so much excellence in doing business. But the mentor insisted, you have to do medicine because I'm the one paying your money, I'm doing everything for you. So I feel that is not the model we want, because the moment you do anything that is outside of your purpose, it doesn't matter how much money you earn, it doesn't matter how much notoriety you get in that, you never ever get fulfillment. So I think as parents, as mentors, and people who are put in a places where we are supposed to guide people, your work is to observe, look at how are they manifesting, keep assessing them, ask them questions that they're the only ones who can answer. Like, so what sometimes we do in Plants and Pillars, we just ask you, what do you feel are your strengths? What are your giftings? We take them through certain tests that they get to understand their personality, and they start asking themselves very pertinent questions. Why am I choleric? Why do I naturally gravitate towards leadership? Anytime people are in a place, I find myself organizing people, even without any supervision. Then you realize that this person has this kind of a gifting, and then now you help them to walk in that direction.
To nurture that, to understand that.
The best kind of mentorship is, because mentorship is about principles. Anyone, that's why you find some of the best coaches. I've never played some of the games they play. True. But they understand what you need to do to get there. So their work is to let you know these are the principles to let you get into this place. Some of even the boxing coaches, they never boxed.
It's true. There's a saying in sports that we say you can never be a sports star without a coach, right? Because the coach works under certain principle, under certain guidelines.
Yes, exactly.
But they're able to tell you are playing in this position, and so if you can just add one or two things, because they have already seen, they have seen people who went through that journey, so they've seen ahead per se.
Exactly.
But now they use you in terms of your gifts and talents and your strengths to be able to take you to the next level.
Because sorry to interrupt. Because as we believe in the principle of a seed, that everything has a seed inside of it. Which is true. So the answer to who you are is actually right inside of you. You are the one to. So a mentor just helps you to bring it out. Okay. He doesn't put in a new seed that God didn't put there. He just helps you to bring it out.
Somehow, mentors put seeds in people.
Yeah, they do.
Good and bad.
Yeah.
I believe. I think, just parting short, we should stay aware as human beings. We should stay aware of the impact we have in the people's lives that are in our spaces. Yeah. We have seeds in us, but stay aware. Are you watering or planting? And how helpful are these seeds? Is what you're doing, is it watering or planting? How helpful is it in the life of this person moving forward?
True.
Oh, that's good. Chad, even as we wind up for this session, this day, what just 3 or 5 importance of mentorship, as you also share your closing remarks.
Okay. As I said initially, the first importance I feel of mentorship is, as I said, is a time redemption strategy. Okay. Time redemption strategy. The next generation should be better. Okay. That's why the greatest mentor I ever have is Jesus Christ. And look at the statement he made. He said, the things I do, you will do, and even greater things. So a mentor is supposed to help you become greater. They're not supposed to be fighting you or feeling insecure about you. So I feel it's a time redemption strategy. Mentorship helps to refocus you, because you have someone who holds you accountable, which our generation, they don't like, because it's kind of tough. We just like my life, my choice, everything, But when the moment you have someone holding you accountable and asking you some tough questions, then there's a way in which that channels you. And I think mentorship is one of the recipes that is supposed to generate your success. Yeah, true. Yeah. And then you said like 5. And then maybe another thing, mentorship broadens your mind and horizon. Broadens your mind, by that true, because now you actually, they say he who walks with the wise man shall be wise. Exactly. So when you walk with people who have been ahead of you, there's a way it broadens your imagination. Yeah, true. Yeah. Because but most of the time when you interact among your peers, you think like them. Exactly. Until you get someone who is... You think you're better than them. You think you're better than them. Then you get someone who challenges you. Why are you comfortable with 50K a month? Don't you think you can make more than that? You get. So you find a mentor is someone who stretches you to explore the limitless potential that are within you. Yeah, so, and maybe as my parting shot, because of time, I feel I would talk to someone out there. You can't get a mentor if you have not defined where you want to go. Exactly. So it's important to understand your purpose, so that you know, who am I looking for to help me achieve this purpose. That is the greatest thing for me in mentorship. That's why we encourage people to learn about vision and purpose. So have some time, define your purpose. Then look around you. Who are the people who can help you to get there? Because personally, I'm a product of mentorship. Exactly. Yeah, mentorship works, and the sooner a generation gets to understand that it works, then they will be able to achieve much more than what we have achieved right now.
Wow. Thank you so much. It's been a great show. Thank you, Michelle, for being with us on this Mentorship Monday, and also Chadwick. And our greetings to the University of Nairobi students, Medical Students Association. Yeah. And that is it from us, the Mentor Show, as you have heard. And I'll also just remind you guys that you know what, the greatest strength that you have is actually yourself. So before you look for motivational speakers and encouragement, understand that motivation is actually instinct, okay? So get yourself motivated, encourage yourself, and get to understand yourself. Define your purpose, define your vision, and then from there, connect to mentors, because indeed, it takes mentorship to keep becoming. Until next time, thank you, God bless you.